5 different types of fruits and vegetables go into this delicious Japanese-style katsu curry. Your friends and family will not believe that the secret ingredient is a banana, and that offers a beautiful sweetness against the spicy curry sauce. We'll also be adding in a chopped apple for some sourness. But first, let's prepare our sweet potatoes and aubergines for the panko breaded cutlets. Peel and slice your sweet potato into 5mm rounds, and do the same with the aubergine. There's no need to peel this one though. Try not to slice too thickly, otherwise they're going to take a really long time to cook. Now that our vegetable slices are ready, we're going to dip them in some cornstarch or corn flour, which will help the batter stick a little better. Vegan katsu curry is a seriously popular meal in my home. It contains 6 different types of vegetables and fruits, and now I double the recipe every time so that there's enough leftovers for the next day. My son absolutely loves it. Once all the veggies have been coated, it's time to move on to making the wet batter. For this we need plain flour, corn flour, a little pinch of salt. Now give it a mix while gradually adding some cold water. Don't worry if it's not completely smooth, it doesn't need to be. Katsu curry is a Japanese dish of deep fried cutlets in a curry sauce. It's typically prepared with pork, but many versions are now popular, from chicken katsu curry to tofu katsu curry. It's believed to have originated in the late 19th century when Japanese chefs began to experiment with Western-style ingredients, such as Britain's most famous invention and export, curry powder. Now these are panko breadcrumbs. They're a type of breadcrumb made from crustless white bread that's steamed and then dried and shredded into flakes. They have a super airy texture, which makes them ideal for breading foods that you want to fry, as they'll create a light and crispy coating. I clearly should have used a bigger plate here, but I think you get the idea of what I'm trying to do. So you want to dip your vegetables in the wet batter and then in the breadcrumbs and coat them evenly as you can, but don't worry if they're not perfectly covered. You don't want a double coating, as this will interfere with the cooking of the vegetables. Once you've coated all of your slices, arrange them on a platter and then pop them in the fridge for about 30 minutes while you get on with making the sauce. For this you'll need some oil and then whole spices, cinnamon, star anise and dried bay leaves. In goes a chopped onion, and we're going to saute this for about 4 or 5 minutes. After colonising vast parts of the world, including the Indian subcontinent, the British invented curry powder to make cooking with spices and cooking Indian curry accessible. This simplified method for preparing curry was introduced to Japan by British military personnel during the Meiji period. Once our onions have softened, we're going to add in a whole bunch of fruits and veggies. Now this includes some chopped sweet potato, that mashed banana, chopped apple, and some carrots. This is my favourite way of introducing sweetness to the dish and cramming in some more veggies. I'm also including some chopped chili and garlic. Now the aim of the game is to saute this for around 20 minutes or even longer if you have it. If you've got 40 minutes, then that is ideal. We really want to caramelize the flavors of these fruits and veggies. That's going to add so much depth and character to the curry. The vast majority of recipes and restaurants opt for using curry block. This is a block form curry paste which is ready made and comes in a tablet. It's basically like a curry powder roux. They look a little bit like stock cubes and cook to create a rich and thick curry sauce. While I think that they are a great standby option and contain all of the flavours of a fantastic Japanese curry, there really isn't anything quite like making your own, especially when it's this loaded with vegetables. As the vegetables cook, you'll notice they start to stick a little bit to the base of the pan, and this is a great thing. And you want to go in with a wooden spoon and continue to scrape the bottom of that pan very gently to lift it off. And this is what's going to add so much flavour to the curry. A heavy based cast iron pan or something that's coated in ceramic is ideal for this, because we don't want a non-stick pan since we won't develop that fantastic crust at the bottom. Just as you start to think that this is done and you need to stop cooking the vegetables, I want you to ignore that urge and carry on. It's a trust the process kind of deal. The longer you caramelize the vegetables, the richer and deeper and more complex the flavors and colors of your curry sauce. So I cooked this for around 20 minutes and this is how it's looking. You can take it a little bit longer if you want, but I'm going to stop here and deglaze the pan with a little bit of water. You'll see that the water lifts that caramelization right off the bottom of the pan, and we are going to continue to scrape until it all comes off and the water dries out. Be sure to get every little dark brown sticky bit off the base. Now that our water has evaporated off, we are going to add in some flour. Continue to stir and cook this until the flour has coated all of the veggies. We want it to toast up a little bit too. This is definitely a take your time kind of meal and the kind of thing that I like to batch prepare at the weekend. Since the curry sauce takes a little bit of time to make, I usually double the amount of ingredients I use so that I have double the curry sauce, and then I stow half of it away in the freezer for another day. You can either serve it with the crispy cutlets or you can add in your favourite vegetables and protein to make it more of a traditional type curry. Okay, so our flour has almost toasted to perfection. It's time to add in our dry spices, and I've left adding the dry spices to this point because if we cook them too long, they do have a tendency to burn. I'm adding Madras curry powder, some Chinese 5-spice, garam masala, and some white pepper. Stir everything to coat it well. You can tell that this is super thirsty now, so we're going to add some coconut milk. I'm using full fat coconut milk for a rich and creamy finish. Once the dry spices have gone in, make sure you don't leave it too long before you add the coconut milk. And now you will be able to hear the sizzle of all of those veggies. They were crying out for some moisture, and we have it in spades with this super lovely, rich, thick coconut milk. Give everything a really good stir, and then we are going to add in our final ingredients for the sauce. For bonus fruitiness and tartness, add in some mango chutney. Don't skip it, I promise you this makes the dish. A splash of light soy sauce, some ground turmeric and salt. Now stir this well, and you can adjust the consistency with a little bit of water should you need to. I like to keep it going for just a little bit longer. Patience is key. Now we can really see those amazing, deep, rich caramelized colors coming along. Now I want to blend this quickly because I'm really hungry, so I'm going to add in some cold water this time and then remove the whole spices. Don't want to break your blender. And I should say as well, if you'd like for your curry to have a darker color, you can always add in some dark soy sauce. Now just blend this until it is lovely and smooth. Can we have a moment of appreciation for how beautifully glossy this is? L'Oreal, eat your heart out. Now return this to the pan and set aside. We're going to carry on making our breaded cutlets, which have been waiting for us patiently in the fridge. This curry sauce is so rich and creamy. You can stop right here if you like and just add in some more vegetables or protein of your choice, but we are going to make our breaded cutlets. To do that, we'll heat enough oil for deep frying in a pan to about 160 degrees Celsius. And then just slide in the breaded vegetables, do a few at a time because we don't want to overcrowd the oil. These need to cook nice and evenly. Each batch should take between 6 or 7 minutes. Try not to move them around too much for the first 30 seconds or so because the breadcrumbs do have a tendency to slip off that way. You want to give them some time to set up. And then give them a gentle turn and continue to cook at the same temperature until they are golden brown all over. Before you ask, you can air fry or bake these. You'll need to brush or spray them liberally with oil before you put them in the oven or air fryer. And please note that they may take a little bit longer than the deep frying method and the browning might not be quite so perfect. Continue to fry your veggies in batches and then allow them to drain on some absorbent kitchen paper or a wire rack. The word katsu is said to come from the English word cutlet. This dish is now a staple of Japanese comfort cuisine and it can be prepared in so many ways. This is my favourite version. It's a recipe that'll give you the feeling of having eaten out at a restaurant without actually having to eat out or order in. My son Bodhi is a Wagamama connoisseur who will jump at the opportunity to grace the long benches of the Pan-Asian restaurant. These sweet potato and aubergine cutlets are so deliciously crispy. I could eat them exactly how they are, just dunking them in that curry sauce. But we're gonna behave, we're not savages, we're gonna plate this up and enjoy it as a main meal alongside some steamed rice and a little bit of salad and some Japanese pickles. If you've ever eaten at a Wagamama, you'll recognize this style of plating. This is our homemade version of a Wagamama's with lots and lots of extra veggies thrown in. And that's it, that is the dish complete. I hope you love this recipe as much as we do in our family home. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do that and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload a new recipe. Thanks for watching. How is it?
No. It's poison.